Guys, Alesso and Tuvalo, we're heroes on 103.2 Preston FM. All right, then it's John then on a Tuesday afternoon, 2:30, talking to actual Christopher Hall off of Film Reviews. How are you, Chris?
You make me sound real.
Yes.
Like a real boy.
Yes.
Wow.
Like an actual celebrity. How are you, Chris, then? We spoke to you a minute ago. You're not very impressed at the transportation system in this country.
Nope. It was insufficient, and it's added to my feelings of dread and confusion and disdain for the film reviews coming up. So if I seem a little bit down and angry, it's not just because some of these movies are pants, it's also because of other contributing factors.
Okay, fair enough. Let's move on to the first one then. It's Home. Now, it's a kiddies movie, you said.
Yes, it is. Home is the latest movie by DreamWorks Pictures. I saw it at an advanced screening on Saturday. I believe it's out officially this Friday. So, much like Big Hero 6, I got to see it before the rabble and all the kids. I know that are going to be going along to it with bags full of pick and mix. Did they still do pick and mix?
I'm not sure. I think they do popcorn. Popcorn's big at the cinemas.
Popcorn and whatever.
Yeah.
The movie is about O, who is played by Jim Parsons, who some people may know from Big Bang Theory. O and his race of aliens are cowards. They spend almost their entire existence running away from bigger, scarier, nastier aliens. And in this movie, they are running away from a particularly evil one called the Gru, or something like that. The name is totally irrelevant, so don't worry about it. I have to take a deep breath because this plot is just really dense. It's so dense.
Really?
So the story is they are escaping from this evil alien threat, so they go to Earth, where they kidnap all the humans and put them on a nature reserve in the middle of Australia. Due to wacky shenanigans, O accidentally sends an email out to all alien life forms in the galaxy, inviting them to a party, which then goes out to the evil aliens, who the evil aliens are now know where they are. So the evil aliens are going to find the good aliens to do nasty things to them. So O has to try and clear his name in a way that would be most resembling of a movie after Taken, trying to do the right thing and stop the email from going out, whilst at the same time trying to clear his name. Whilst all this is going on, Tip, played by Rihanna, has lost her mother. Her mother was kidnapped by the aliens when they first arrived on the planet, but because she had a cat on her head, they mistook her for a cat and didn't kidnap her. So now she's trying to find her mother and he's trying to clear her name. Then at one point they both meet up to each other, they have some wacky banter, and then the movie becomes him trying to clear his name while stopping the alien threat, while stopping the email, while she tries to find her mother. They have ins, they have outs, and at the end of it I leave myself feeling very, 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 very confused.
I'm very flabbergasted, I'll have you that. So you likened it to Taken, so is Liam Neeson in there saying, I'll kill you? I
likened it to Taken purely and simply for the fact that, much like the Taken 3 movie, it is this, and then it's that, and then it's this, then it's that, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. With this, it's a case of, we have plot strand A begins, then plot strand A ends, then plot strand B begins, and plot strand B ends, but then plot strand A begins again, then B begins again, then C starts, and A ends, and B ends, but then C continues on, but then A restarts, and oh my word.
Very complex for a children's film.
It is. It's probably the most complex children's movie I've seen since Cars 2, which was, the secret agents and the global warming and there's oil, but there's also a race and, jeepers creepers, what's going on? I am just flabbergasted by this movie, by the sheer fact of how dense the plot is. Now, if we're bluntly honest, most DreamWorks movies, the story is of no importance. The main focus for them is doing silly, wacky jokes. The story is just a vehicle for that. So they can have, like in Madagascar, they've gone a bit crazy. The lion thinks he's a ferocious lion and he's trying to capture everyone in a Wile E. Coyote kind of way. And with Shrek, he gets angry with a donkey, and they have wacky pop culture banter, that kind of thing. So getting annoyed that the plot itself is incredibly dense and hard to follow is a bit pointless, but when you consider just how naff the comedy within this movie is, it's kind of hard not to. The comedy in this movie is literally jokes for the children, jokes for the adults. A two-way split. So you'll have silly toilet humour, farting moment for the aliens, and then you have weird wordplay, which realistically should be in the Unfinished Business movie from a couple of weeks ago. That's not to say it's like mature, it's like a racy joke, it's just a case of kids aren't going to understand the wordplay. They're just not, because they want silly flashing lights. They want wacky character moments. They don't want, so you did, but I didn't. Oh, yes, you did. Oh, you didn't. Oh, jeepers, my word. In terms of the performance side of things, moving on to that, Jim Parsons, who many people love because Big Bang Theory is apparently a big thing. I've never really heard of it, but apparently it's big, and he does a perfectly fine job with the material available to him. I find his character utterly annoying. He talks in a way which is very reminiscent of the lolcats, I has cheeseburger, that kind of thing. Oh. But at the same time, he's also talking in a way not too dissimilar to 1950s B-movie Aliens, where everything is very definitive. It's not I can't, I won't, it's I cannot, I will not. So you've got these two things going against each other, so you're going, oh dear, what? Then you got Rihanna as Tip. Now, Rihanna in this is perfectly fine. As a voice actress, she's perfectly fine, but in this movie, she's not really doing anything to really disguise her voice or to perform in any way. It's Rihanna doing Rihanna's voice. She's playing a character who's about 12 years old, or if not younger, yet she sounds like a woman in her 20s, which is what Rihanna is.
Well, can you... there I am. Can you actually hear Rihanna... Can you tell it's her?
Yeah, you can tell it's her, because at one moment she explains that, it was very difficult me coming to this country when I was just the nerdy girl from Barbados, which is where Rihanna's from. She's from Barbados. So right. You just kind of like, hang on a minute. And then, shock horror, this Rihanna is doing the soundtrack for this movie. Yes. You'll have Rihanna talking like Rihanna, whilst a Rihanna song is playing in the background, and then it just feels incredibly meta.
Although the songs are good, though. I played one about half an hour ago towards the song. The songs are good,
and the songs are probably the standout thing of it. But there is moments in it when those songs are playing where, and this is where I'm going to get into nerdy film person territory, but I'll explain, because it is valid to muggles.
Here we go.
Which is that it made me feel very much like I was watching an animated movie from the early to mid-90s. As one of the many weird fads that there were during those animated movies was that with some of them they'd have these sequences which were just literally music videos. It would be bits where the characters would have a silly song and dance where generic pop artist from the time song was playing in the background, the song directly off the soundtrack.
It'd be like Aerosmith's song. I can't remember the name of it, but if you close my eyes just to hear me, that one.
Yeah, that one. It adds nothing real, but even more so, because that's the end of the movie, that's a big emotional bit. With these bits, it's just, it adds nothing to the story, it's just dance sequence. And it feels odd because, for a start, it adds nothing to the plot, what little there is of the plot in the first place, which isn't just a massive mess. Secondly, the songs themselves are really, really good and aren't deserving of a movie like this. And thirdly, in a weird kind of way, the animation and the actual mindset and the direction in these moments is probably the better bits of the movie. It's where all the lame attempts at making very forced jokes just go to one side, and we get something which is a little bit more measured and at times can be funny, because it isn't it's a Twitter joke, or one of them's made a rude noise, or it's not like that. It's like a case of, he's running away from the alien whilst Rihanna's song plays in the background and he trips up and knocks him over. That's funny. Or alien invaders knocking into their spaceship, and that's actually a really clever bit. That's one of the more standout moments. So we have these bits that stand on their own, which realistically could just be music videos, which are great. The rest of the movie is fairly naff, but it isn't horrible, which is the best thing I can say about it. It's not horrible, it's just remarkably unremarkable. There are very strange moments in it when the aliens are invading and kidnapping everybody. It's a weird moment. You feel as if, wait, just put some dramatic music over this and take out some of the colours, and you've got a Michael Bay movie going on all over here for a sudden. I can't hate it because it's not hateable, it's just pretty naff. And considering what other great children's movies are that are out at the moment, we've still got Big Hero 6, still got Shaun the Sheep. In some cinemas they're still playing Paddington. It just stands out. And one thing I just want to point out, just for anyone who is going to this movie, you may get confused as there's a subplot in this movie involving a Christmas present, and you can see snow and you can see Christmas trees and Father Christmas in the background. The reason that's the case is because this movie was originally supposed to be released around November, December time.
Oh dear.
It was supposed to be released for the Thanksgiving weekend in America, but DreamWorks, or the distributors, decided to swap them round. Originally, we were supposed to have Penguins of Madagascar coming out now, but they swapped them round. Penguins of Madagascar, I've not seen it, but seems to be pretty much an evergreen movie. You can show it whatever time of the year. This movie, we've got bits revolving Christmas trees and Christmas presents. in the middle of March, so you'll feel confused by that, but don't worry, it's not massive. Just remind yourselves, this is out at this point, out of contractual obligation, because we're in the drought period. Don't worry, it's perfectly fine to be confused. I was.
And would it have done better if it had been released back in November?
Probably, because at least then you could say, oh, it's a seasonal movie. It's an end-of-year thing, like when Night at the Museum 3 came out, it was at the end of the year, so even if the movie was naff, it was still done in a way which, to a certain degree, you could say that it's like the variety show kind of thing. It's a bit with a singer, it's a bit with a dancer, and at the end of the big song and dance sequence, which is what pretty much all DreamWorks movies have. And at least had it been released then, it would have felt a little bit more apt, at least in that regard. But the fact you got Christmas presents, Christmas trees, and we're just about to, we're in the middle of spring, we're soon getting into summer, the weather's getting warm, and you just kind of sit there like, oh, dear, my head.
Indeed. Right, listen, still to come, what are you reviewing next, Christopher?
Run All Night with Liam Neeson.
Sounds awesome. Here's Katy Perry and Birthday.